And lastly, to be able to look at additional service, knowing it's not now, but how do we really plan for the future? And I think Tigard City Council really reflected very well that, as we all know, we will, or at least we assume, that we will be through this economic recession, a very deep recession, and we need to be able to make continued investments in providing better service. And certainly the potential for high-capacity transit to and through Tigard is something that is very high on their agenda and is very important. Next, since we last met, the regional trip, that's what's called the JPAC trip, the Joint Policy Advisory Committee on Transportation. That's the group regionally under the auspices of Metro come together and really help allocate federal dollars once a year. That group, which I'm a part, go to Washington, D.C., a chance to be able to meet with our congressional delegation and present a unified front on what are the priorities for this region for transportation. We are, if not unique, we are rare in the groupings from around the nation that present a unified approach. Oftentimes, other places have expected the Congress will, in fact, choose among the various competing interests. We really, as a region, have said, no, we're going to have those discussions here, get to the resolution, get to consensus, and present a unified view. The response, I think, was very good. We had a chance to be able to meet with each of the congressional delegation, and I think, again, very productive for them to both to hear our issues as well as other items. A part of that discussion was also involving the Federal Transit Administration, and we were very pleased that the commitment made by the senior person at the Federal Transit Administration, they do not yet have what's called a political appointee, that is the head of the Federal Transit Administration, or that deputy, but the most senior career person, Matt Welbus, did commit to us at that time to me that the authorization to enter preliminary engineering, that's on the Portland to Milwaukee Light Rail, would be coming within days. That notice did go up for what's required 10-day congressional notification late Friday of last week. So we're very pleased that that step's been taken. Once authorized, then steps can be moving forward. I know it may sound a little incongruous to be able to talk about service reductions at one time and yet planning for the future, and yet I think all of us know that we can't just stop. We must continue to be able to think about the future and how do we really position ourselves, and the Portland-Milwaukee light rail alignment is something that's critical to that. Third, I would mention that diesel prices, we're currently paying $2.95 per gallon for fuel. Obviously, the ability for us to be able to be predicting what is our most volatile line item in our budget, that has been diesel fuel, and to be able to have that be steady and below budget is something that gives us the assurance that we are not looking at additional fare increases as we had to last year, as you had to enact to be able to address fuel costs. Obviously, right now, you could buy below that, but the stability of that line item is, I think, a critically important issue for the agency. And as you watch the price of per barrel going up and up over the last several weeks, even in this decreasing demand time, I think we will see that those prices coming back at a level that directly affect our budget. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any other questions.
Okay, question to the General Manager.
Fred, I know in terms of when you began to look at your service and other things, are there any untouchables in this cut, i.e. security? We haven't talked about that because everyone's looking at cuts. Hope we're not cutting security. We're not cutting, some of the, as they say, meat off the bone.
There certainly are a number of places. Let me address specifically the the issue that you raised, and that is on security, maybe the closely related issue, and that is on fare inspection. We committed to be able to increase our level of police force. We are on schedule to be able to have a full 15 68 sworn officers in place by July 1st. Speaking to Commander Jarmer just a few days ago, he believes he is going to be able to achieve that. That is, the actual officers from local jurisdictions. They were having some budget issues as well, but he's convinced we can. That will have doubled our police force from where we were in November of '07. In addition, our commitment was that those officers who probably spent about 35% of the time on the system will be spending up to 70%, meaning a doubling of that. Overall, probably close to a quadrupling of the police presence. Obviously, we have our precincts and so on. I've directed that that not be reduced. I've directed that is, in this budget cut, cuts are going to have to come elsewhere. In addition, and Stephen Bent and I are absolutely on the same view on all of these issues, but that is on the fare inspection. We also committed to be able to increasing the amount of fare inspection that would be occurring by additional personnel. We are expecting that that will, in fact, be fully met and therefore be protected as well. Those are untouchables in your wording.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
One last thing I forgot to mention, my apologies for this. As you know, when we do the new light rail alignment, there are various times where we actually have to tie in the new alignment to the existing alignment and in the process disrupt service. We always provide an alternative bus service around those interruptions. But we have to do that. The largest was last summer when we, in fact, had to close down access across the steel bridge for just over 3 weeks and had remarkable experiences. I think Board Member Lehrbach even actually got good directions and all during one time during that period. But upcoming next Tuesday, we have the last of the major tie-ins, and this is at the gateway, and this is going to be for the signal system, really the elements that make sure that as trains enter from different directions that it is all handled well. This will require some red line disruption between Gateway and Portland Airport. What we do is starting Tuesday night after rush hour and then through the weekend, we will provide shuttle buses from Gateway to the airport. What we do is we set up really 2 buses, one that stops at the stops along the way for people who are going to Park Rose or to the Cascade stations and so on. We also have another bus that actually is an express bus straight to the airport. That express bus makes it in about the same time the airport MAX line would make it. But we will be servicing that by being able to run that bus there. This is something that we also have a lot of people out helping people understand exactly what it is as well. Then on the weekend itself, we'll also have to be able to, for another part of the tie-in, bus bridge really from Gateway to the next stop going east. That is the 102nd Avenue station. Likewise, we will have buses that will provide for that connection. And all. Minor delays are anticipated for riders, but it will be, as I said, we'll be out there working on it. And this is the last of the major tie-ins that will disrupt MAX service. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any additional questions.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Beth, Finance Report.
Thank you, Mr. President and members of the board. I'd like to start with giving a little color to the economic picture that we keep alluding to, which is underlying our budget. Unfortunately, it's not a good picture, but we continue to see deterioration in the economic conditions, and particularly employment, which is, of course, what drives the payroll tax. You probably saw the headlines that Oregon's unemployment rate was 10.8% in February. That's up a full point from January.